The Senate will come to order. The senators will please take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privilege of the floor will please retire to the gallery. The senators and all in attendance will stand and be led in prayer by the Reverend Bob Turner, Derbyshire Baptist Church, Richmond, Virginia.
I invite you to pray with me. O great God, creator of this bountiful universe, and especially of the exquisite beauty of our beloved Commonwealth of Virginia, we are aware that as elected members of this assembly, we have been entrusted with the stewardship of our democratic principles and the resources, both natural and financial, at our disposal here and now. While King Solomon prayed for wisdom, may we seek the conscience that preserves the noble principles of justice, fairness, compassion, and the careful management of our financial resources made possible by the taxpayers of Virginia. As we consider proposals for new legislation, may we realize that positive and helpful results are more likely to be realized by the consensus of thoughtful minds than by the passion of narrow minds. May we set a good example in our own lives of honesty, integrity, and reasoned good judgment, and always seek what we sincerely believe to be in the best interest of the majority of the people of Virginia. We pray that in all our deliberations your will might be done. We pray these all in your holy name, God, Lord of all things, and giver of all good gifts. Amen.
Amen. Clerk will call the roll. All those present will please vote aye. Clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Mr. President. Senate Journal for Thursday, February 22nd, 2018.
The senator from Mecklenburg, Senator Ruff, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 34, noes 3.
Ayes 34, noes 3. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the House of Delegates. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Good Friday morning, Mr. President.
Good Friday, Senator.
I would respectfully move that we waive any communications received from the House of Delegates, sir.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the communication and the reading of the communication from the House of Delegates be waived? All in favor of waiving the reading of that communication will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 34, noes 4.
Ayes 34, noes 4. The reading of the communication from the House of Delegates is waived. Clerk will report any communication from the governor.
Again, we do not have a communication for Senator Stanley.
None today. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now comes time for the morning hour. Are there any senators who wish to be recognized for purposes of an introduction?
Good work, Mr. President.
Might have won.
Good work, Who invited the president?
Yes. Senator from Henrico, Senator Donovan.
Good morning, Mr. President. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Good morning. Senator has the floor.
Thank you so much. I want to thank the Reverend Robert Turner, Minister of Senior Adults in Visitation at Derbyshire Baptist Church this morning, for giving our beautiful blessing. We do think Virginia is so beautiful. Thank you. And I hope you'll welcome him to the Senate today, Mr. President.
I thank the senator. Would Reverend Turner please rise in the gallery? Reverend Turner, thank you so much for joining us here on this beautiful Friday. Thank you for that really wonderful and moving prayer. Got us off to the right foot, and we're grateful to have you back here in the Senate. Of course, you're welcome here anytime. We echo the kind and generous words the Senator from Henrico, Senator Donovan, and thank you for your moral leadership here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I would ask all the senators and everyone in attendance to please join me in extending the warm welcome of the Senate to Reverend Turner. Do any other senators wish to be recognized for the purpose of an introduction? Is there any other business to come before the Senate in the morning hour? Seeing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Mr. President.
Sorry, Senator from Prince William, Senator McPike.
Good morning.
Good morning,
President.
Senator.
I would just like the journal to reflect the absence of my seatmate. She's away from the Capitol on pressing personal business.
Thank the Senator. The journal will so note. Senator from Enrico, Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for the purposes of an announcement.
Senator has the floor.
I hope that you'll excuse my seatmate, the senior senator from Virginia Beach, who is also away on pressing personal business.
Thank the Senator. The journal will so note.
Senior senator from Virginia Beach. Only in his own mind. Only in his own mind.
Seeing no further business for the morning hour, the clerk will call the calendar.
Calendar for Friday, February 23rd, 2018. Unfinished business House Bill 1. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
The Senator from Bedford, Senator Newman.
Mr. President, I move that we insist on our amendment and request a committee of conference.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall the Senate insist on its amendment and request the committee conference? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, no 0.
Ayes 36, no 0.
House Bill 638. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Mr. President, I move that we insist on our substitute and request a committee conference.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate insist on its substitute and request a committee conference? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
House Bill 1174. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Bedford, Senator Newman.
Mr. President, I move that we insist on our substitute for House Bill 1174 and request a committee of conference.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate insist on its substitute and request a committee of conference? All those in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, no 0.
Ayes 37, noes 0.
House Bill 1343. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Mr. President, I move that we insist on our substitute and request a committee conference.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate insist on its substitute and request a committee of conference? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
House Bill 1482. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Mr. President, I move that we insist on our substitute and request a committee of conference.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate insist on its substitute and request a committee of conference? Those in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. All opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
We are awaiting House action on House Bill 482. Unfinished business Senate. Senate Bill 550 has passed the House with amendments.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Mr. President, I move that we concur with the House amendments. And speaking briefly to that motion,
Senator has the floor.
This is a charter bill. The House amended it because they were concerned about the breadth of the blight language. It was amended to make it clear that it didn't give the town any authority to address blight beyond that which is conferred by the state code.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall the Senate concur in the House amendments? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Senate Bill 594 has passed the House with amendment.
Senator from Fauquier, Senator Vogel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the body concur with the House amendment in speaking to that motion.
Thank the senator. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. The House merely stripped out the emergency clause, and this is a charter bill, and I don't object to that at all, and I would just ask that the body concur with the amendment.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendment? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 2.
Ayes 36, noes 2.
We are awaiting House action on Senate Bill 389, House Bill with Governor's recommendations, House Bill 154.
Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt the recommended amendment by the governor and speak to that.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've previously acted on governor's recommendations to the Senate bill that's a companion to this bill. What this does is the Congress, after we've been in session, passed legislation, the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2018 on February 9th. This conformity bill with these additions will allow taxpayers to recognize some of the benefits of those revisions on their 2017 tax returns. I hope it will be the pleasure to pass the governor's recommendation.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall the bill be amended in accordance with the recommendation of the governor? All in favor of amending the bill in accordance with the recommendation of the governor will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Uncontested calendar, House bills on third reading.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I respectfully move that all the House bills on the third reading on the uncontested calendar, which would include all House bills on pages 6 through 20, including House Bill 823 through House Bill 1599, be placed on their final passage in the block after the adoption of any amendments. Any senator who desires to remove a House bill from the block, please do so after the clerk has read the number of that bill.
I thank the senator. Question is, shall House bills on the uncontested calendar third reading, pages 6 through 20, House Bill 823 through House Bill 1599, be placed upon their final passage in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto, with the understanding that any senator desiring a bill be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill. All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. The clerk will read the number of the bills.
House Bill 823, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 22, reported from the Committee on Local Government.
Mr. President?
Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
Can House Bill 22 please come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 22 will be removed from the block.
House Bill 28, reported for the Committee on Privileges and Elections with amendment.
Senator from Fauquier, Senator Vogel.
Mr. President.
Hello, Senator.
I move that the committee amendment be agreed to.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is agreed to.
House Bill 55, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 60, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 73, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 123, reported from the Committee on Local Government with amendment.
Senator from Franklin County, Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now that the committee amendment be agreed to.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is agreed to.
House Bill 190, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 267, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 283, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 286, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with a substitute, and from the Committee on Finance.
Senator from King George, Senator Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd move the committee substitute.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted.
House Bill 316, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 340, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 373, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 431, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 488, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 494, reported from the Committee on Local Government, and there is a floor amendment.
Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we waive the reading of the floor amendment.
Question is, shall the reading of the floor amendment be waived? All in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The reading of the floor amendment is waived. Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the adoption of the floor amendment. I'd like to speak to that.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is purely a technical amendment. There was a typo. If you will see the amendment, if you have it on your desk, it's just changing a couple numbers so that the right code section will be referenced. I hope it will be the pleasure of the Senate to adopt the amendment.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the floor amendment be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The floor amendment is adopted.
House Bill 508, reported from the Committee on Local Government with amendment.
Senator from Franklin County, Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now move that the committee amendment be agreed to, sir.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is agreed to.
House Bill 509, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 538, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 548, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 637, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 671, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 684, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 737, reported from the Committee on Transportation with amendments and from the Committee on Finance.
Senator from Grayson, Senator Carrico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now move the committee amendments.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 756, reported from Committee on Local Government. House Bill 767, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with a substitute.
Senator from Fauquier, Senator Vogel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the substitute be agreed to.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 883, reported from the Committee on Finance with a substitute.
Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the committee substitute be agreed to.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1093, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1095, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1148, reported from the Committee on Finance with an amendment.
Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Mr. President, I move the committee amendment be agreed to.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is agreed to.
House Bill 1166, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1240, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1399, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1428, reported from the Committee on Local Government with amendment.
Senator from Franklin County, Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now demand that we agree to the committee amendment.
I thank the senator. The demand or request for motion is that the committee amendment be agreed to. All in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Chair is uncertain. We'll have a recorded vote. All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote?
Really?
The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 31, noes 7.
Ayes 31, noes 7. The bill fails. Now, the amendment passes, actually. I'm just teasing. Fine. You're fine. The amendment.
Having demanded on the previous I will never demand again.
House Bill 1467, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 1599, reported from the Committee on Finance with a substitute.
Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the adoption of the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted.
Mr. President.
Senator from Bass, Senator Dees.
Could House Bill 55 on page 7 and House Bill 73 on page 8 be removed from the block?
Without objection, House Bill 55 on page 7 and House Bill 73 on page 8 will be removed from the block. Question is, shall the House bills pass in a block? That is all bills except for House Bills 22, 55, and 73. All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Ayes 38, noes 0. The bills in the block pass.
Returning to page 6, House Bill 22.
Senator from Franklin County, Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I respectfully move that House Bill 22 pass. And speaking to that motion, sir.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you very much. If I can get my eyeballs in here. House Bill 22, proposed by Delegate Lee Ware, requires and adds to an existing code section, adding Powhatan County and Smith County to the list of counties that may require connection to the water and sewer systems if they so provide them. Does not keep the homeowner from using any systems that they may already have on there for either sewage or for water, such as a well, but they may require a fee in that use. So this is a code that's already in existence. What the delegate was trying to accomplish, pursuant to the request of the people that he serves, is adding Powhatan and Smith County to this list. And for those reasons, Mr. President, I now most respectfully move, once again, that House Bill 22 pass. Thank you.
Thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard on House Bill 22? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 22 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 34, nays 3.
Ayes 34, noes 3. House Bill 22 passes.
On page 7, House Bill 55.
Senator from Grayson, Senator Carrico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I respectfully move that House Bill 55 pass. And speaking to the bill,
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, this bill, like another one we're going to hear in just a few moments, is a request from the localities from South Boston to North Carolina to have VDOT look at the section of highway on Route 501 and determine the increase of the speed from on, I think, about 55 miles of stretch of road there. And I would hope that we would move and pass the bill.
Thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard on House Bill 55? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 55 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 1.
Ayes 37, noes 1. House Bill 55 passes.
On page 8, House Bill 73.
Senator from Grayson, Senator Carrico.
Mr. President, I move that we pass the bill. Speaking of the bill.
Senator has the floor.
Once again, Mr. President, this is a Feel the Need for Speed bill. This is identical to the bill that was introduced to increase the speed limits on certain highways that Senator Reeves and Senator Stewart had. This is including 301, Route 3, and Route 207. It's about 200 miles of highway that they are going to evaluate to see if we can't safely increase the speed so people can get to and from wherever they need to go in a shorter time. Thank you, Mr. President. I hope we can pass the bill.
I thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard on House Bill 73? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 73 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 1.
Ayes 37, noes 1. House Bill 73 passes.
Regular calendar. House Bill on third reading. House Bill 424, a bill relating to animal shelters, administration, and biological.
Mr. President.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Madam Clerk, pardon me for interrupting you. I appreciate that we had a very long day yesterday, and it is Friday, and I know that the senator from Roanoke City has prepared remarks to share with us his eloquence on a number of bills that have come out of the Privileges and Elections Committee, and I wanted to give him an opportunity to refine those remarks for Monday. So I respectfully am going to ask that all the House bills on the regular calendar on the third reading, which would include all bills on pages 20 through 26, be passed by for the day.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall all House bills on third reading regular calendar, pages 20 through 26, be passed by for the day? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Chair is uncertain. We will have a recording. No. The ayes have it. All House bills on regular calendar third reading will be passed by for the day.
Page 27, uncontested calendar, House bills on second reading.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Mr. President, I thought I was going to get unanimity and a thunderous applause after that last motion. I tell you how disappointed I am. But, Mr. President, I respectfully move that all the House bills on the second reading on both the uncontested and regular calendar, which would include all House bills on pages 27 through 44, including House Bill 2 through House Bill 1600, that the rules of the Senate be suspended and that the second constitutional reading of the titles be dispensed with, sir.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 27 through 44, House Bill 2 through House Bill 1600, be dispensed with? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would now move that all the bills be passed by for the day, sir.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall the House bills and the uncontested and regular calendars now on third reading be passed by for the day? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills will go by for the day.
Uncontested calendar, Senate Joint Resolution on second reading. Senate Joint Resolution 133, confirming appointments by the governor of a certain person, communicated February 2nd, 2018, reported for the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Fauquier, Senator Vogel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the resolution be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the resolution be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is engrossed and advanced to its third reading. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Madam Clerk, does that mercifully conclude the Friday calendar?
Yes, sir.
Senator. Senator from King George, Senator Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would move that the rules be suspended and Senate Joint Resolution 174 be taken up for immediate consideration.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the rules be suspended and Senate Joint Resolution 174 be taken up for immediate consideration? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The rules are suspended to take up the resolution for immediate consideration. The clerk will please read the title.
Senate Joint Resolution number 174, commending the Honorable William J. Howe.
Senator from King George, Senator Stewart.
I would move that the resolution be agreed to, and speaking to that briefly.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, this is a resolution commending Bill Howell, or Speaker Howell, and I know typically we don't do those resolutions, but he was actually named the Outstanding Virginian by the committee, and I think we're going to do a little presentation next week regarding that, and so we'll have an opportunity to make comments then. But for now, I would just move that that resolution be agreed to so we can have it prepared for next week.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the resolution be agreed to? All in favor of agreeing to the resolution will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is agreed to. The senior senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, rise for an introduction and ask we return to the morning hour.
Without objection, return to the morning hour. The senator has the floor.
I would ask, Mr. President, that you extend a warm welcome and greeting to Tom and Maggie Hurst, who are here today from Alexandria, Virginia. And by the way, this is on behalf of myself and Senator Eben, and Senator Howe. She always wants in on, but he and Maggie live in Alexandria. Tommy Hurst is a retired developer. He's been involved in the environmental movement. He oversees, I think it's the Mason Hurst Foundation, and coincidentally, he is the son of the man who created George Mason's law school, extended the I-66 inside Beltway, and created the Dulles Toll Road, and he was my predecessor in the Senate. And I would ask that you welcome both of them. They're just outstanding citizens, and we're lucky to have them in the Commonwealth.
Thank the senator. Would Tom and Maggie Hurst please rise in the gallery if you're able? Thank you all. Thank you all so much for being here today. Please stay standing if you don't mind. Won't be too long, but we are grateful for your presence and very grateful for all the work that you've done here in the Commonwealth of Virginia to make us a place of opportunity. Your philanthropic work over the years has been truly outstanding and commendable. And thank you for all that you contribute here in Virginia. You are welcome back here anytime in the Senate. And I would ask everyone please to join me in extending the warm welcome of the Senate to Tom and Maggie Hurst. Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also stand for an introduction.
I thank the senator. You have the floor.
Thank you. I hope you'll give the warm welcome of the Senate to Ed and Nancy Rice. They are my constituents, but more important, they're my friends, and I believe they're your friends also, Mr.
Absolutely.
President.
They are indeed. They are indeed.
through their generosity and their commitment to service, they've supported the arts, educational institutions, museums, public television, and Democratic candidates and the Democratic Party. I hope you will give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
I heard approvals on that side of the aisle. Would our friends Ed and Nancy Rice please rise in the gallery if you're able? Ed and Nancy, thank you so much for joining us here today. We echo the generous and eloquent words of the senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howell, who I know is joined by so many other senators, Senator Saslaw, Eben, Peterson, and so many others, Barker and Marsden. We are so grateful for your leadership here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, for your dedication to philanthropy and opportunity for all. You've supported many people over the years and have made our Commonwealth such a special place to live. We're grateful to you. You have a wonderful daughter who we love, and she does great work riding horses and teaching others to do that as well, so carries on that tradition in your family. You're welcome here anytime, and I would ask everyone please to join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our friends Ed and Nancy Rice. Senator from Grayson, Senator Carrico, or do you want to have your seat made to it? Senator from Franklin County, Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I lost the bet, so I get to do it. So, Mr. President, staying with the morning hour, I'd like I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, members of the Senate and the gallery, today we have a special opportunity to meet other members of my seatmate, the senator from Grayson's family, who are in Richmond today. And I have the challenge of being able to pronounce his names, even though he said them 10 times to me. In the gallery, we have his niece and nephew, Micah and Elisha. They are both twins who attend Virginia Tech. Micah is here visiting the film office in Richmond, so that's very exciting. Their mother and his sister, who he talks about all the time, is here today. So we finally get to meet her as well. I'm sure that we're going to be upstairs very shortly asking you questions about the senator from Grayson, and I'm sure you've got some great stories. So we're hopeful that you will be forthcoming and that just his size will not keep you from telling us the truth about him. So I believe that. I bet she did beat you up, too. So, Mr. President, if you would please extend the warm welcome of the Senate to the Unteed family. They're from Chilhowie, just like my good friend, the senator from Grayson. They've come all the way up to Richmond to see him do all the great work that he does and visit Richmond. So thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the senator. Will the family of Senator Carrico please rise in the gallery if you're able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We are honored that you took the time to visit us here in the Senate and know how proud you must be of the senator from Grayson, Senator Carrico, who does great work, and we're really proud to have him as a colleague here in the Senate. Thank you also to his niece and nephew. We're proud of you for being at Virginia Tech, a really incredible institution, and wish you nothing but success as Hokies. And thank his sister for putting up with him for all these years, and we are happy to do so now. But you guys did a great job with him, and he is so proud, I know, of each one of you. You're part of the Senate family. You're welcome back here anytime. And I would ask everyone please to join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to the family of Senator Carrico. Senator from Alexandria, Senator Eben.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Yesterday, we all left here tired, and we're happy to get out of here, but I know that when you went to bed, you were longing for something else, and that was to learn more about George Washington. And in recent years, we've talked about Washington the Burgess and Washington the candidate, and in learning more about Washington myself over the past year, I wanted to talk a bit about Washington the businessman. Before the Revolution, and the colonies operated within the one-sided British mercantilism system, and Virginians were prohibited from exporting goods directly and were forced to sell through British agents, middlemen, who made the real profit from tobacco and other crops. Members of the planting class were falling so deeply into debt that they were selling off their estates. And when his father, Augustine, died, 11-year-old George, along with his mother, Mary Ball Washington, assumed many of the responsibilities of running and managing his family's estate, Ferry Farm, which I believe is in the senator from King George's district. A function of this circumstance is that, unlike many of his peers who received a more classical education, Washington's schooling was extremely limited and centered around mathematics and practical sciences. Our first president developed a street-smart pragmatism that he would apply to business decisions for the rest of his life. Now, when Washington noticed a commercial vacuum in export markets, he moved from cultivating tobacco at Mount Vernon towards wheat and other grains. He sold these foodstuffs lucratively up and down the East Coast and even into the West Indies. He enthusiastically invested his fortune, which would not have been of the size that it could have been invested had he not married into money when he married Martha Custis. This allowed him to take risks in order to diversify his economic base. Commercial fishing on the Potomac was hugely profitable, and by investing in newly designed nets, he caught thousands of pounds of herring every year. Now, while much of Washington's success was attributable to his business acumen, it is important to remember that to a large degree, his prosperity was built on the backs of enslaved people and indentured servants. He also brought skilled laborers, including blacksmiths, weavers, carpenters, to Mount Vernon. And he loved innovation and vigorously applied as many new technology of the day to his operations as possible. He constructed a state-of-the-art gristmill at his estate. He deeply resented the mercantilist system and saw it as holding him and his fellow Virginians back. Washington hated debt, and the British were forcing the American people deeper and deeper into economic submission. He recognized that the colonists would need to take drastic action to secure prosperity and economic independence. After the war, Washington returned to find his cousin, Lund Washington, had severely mismanaged Mount Vernon and, unthinkably to the general, had neglected to take advantage of the lucrative business opportunity of providing food to the Continental Army. And as our first president, Washington took an aggressive approach to leveraging the burgeoning American markets, which he viewed as a strong portfolio of valuable regional assets. He viewed economic diversity as a unifying force, using interstate trade and commerce to bind the young nation together. Meanwhile, Britain's agricultural and industrial revolution were massively successful, and Washington wanted the nation to emulate its former foe. In looking at the state of American agriculture, the economic risk of a one-crop system became apparent. But the British prohibited the sharing of knowledge and manufacturing secrets across the Atlantic. They even forbade engineers, mechanics, and toolmakers from leaving the country. Washington did everything he could to obtain industrial secrets that would lead to mechanized farming and improved crop rotation processes. At home, he engaged in experimental farming methods that included a seed exchange with Thomas Jefferson of Monticello. Now, his diverse income included rent from properties across Western Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and New York. He even invested in housing in the newly established District of Columbia. Imagine that, a president who was also a real estate developer. We can take many lessons from Washington, the businessman, diversifying one's portfolio, applying the newest technologies, filling market vacuums, and avoiding debt. Mr. President, as legislators, we should apply these same principles to our work as stewards of the Commonwealth.
Thank the senator. Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Mr. President, rise reluctantly for a point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I don't do this often, but I feel compelled to do this today. Yesterday, we did have a long day, and among the actions we took yesterday, there was a memorial resolution that was in accordance with the traditions of the Senate, not pulled out of the block because it was a Virginian who passed, who was not a member of the General Assembly. However, I think it is appropriate to draw a note to the passing of a great Virginian, Ron Carrier. Ron Carrier was truly a larger-than-life figure. He was president of James Madison University from 1971 through 1998. The university grew from about, 4,000 students when he began to 13,000 students when he ultimately retired after 27 years. It grew from a small teacher's college to really a world-class university. Ron Carrier was truly something else. He was known in Harrisonburg and among students and anybody who graduated from JMU during his tenure as Uncle Ron. Uncle Ron was a friend to all. He was somebody who was all over, including at fraternity parties on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday nights, making guest appearances. He was a visionary when it came to higher education. The whole notion of integrated education was something that he advanced and pioneered, creating the College of Integrated Science and Technology, something that really has been adopted across the country. You know, there are many great stories about Ron Carrier. Senator Saslaw, I think, probably was involved, but I remember the one great story about him showing up, talking to the Senate Finance Committee, and was trying to convince them that he had the project to end all projects, and he needed money, and said, if you will just fund this project, I won't come back and ask you for another dime next year. And Hunter Andrews, I think, was chairing. Senator Saslaw can probably correct me, and said, well, Ron, we're going to give you that money, but we're going to hold you to that promise. And sure enough, next year, there's Ron Carrier with the next project to end all projects. And the chairman of the Finance Committee said, Dr. Carrier, I distinctly remember putting you on the spot, telling you if we gave you what you asked for last year, you weren't going to come and ask for another dime. And he said, Dr. Carrier, what do you have to say for yourself? And he smiled and said, I lied. Dr. Carrier was something else. I had the privilege of spending 8 years on the Board of Visitors of James Madison, and about 4 of those years overlapped with Dr. Carrier. And as president, you know, he took a real proprietary and ownership interest in James Madison University. I remember sitting there in my first board meeting, and Dr. Carrier welcomed the 4 new board members and said, welcome to my board. I am delighted that you have joined us, and I want you to know that in my 25 years as president of this university, I've had great relationships with every one of my boards. Every one of my boards has approved every single one of my initiatives during my 25 years as president of this university. And as a matter of fact, there has never been a dissenting vote cast in a board meeting during my 25 years as president of James Madison University. And some of you know my friend Chuck Cunningham, who was sitting to my left, and we looked at each other and said, he ain't going to make it 26 years without a dissenting vote. But Dr. Carrier was something else. Who else would serve as president of the university with a faculty senate president who, faculty senate presidents and faculty senates are the scourge of the existence of university presidents. They were created in order to be a thorn in their side. And we had a faculty senate president, a guy named Dorn Peterson. He was a physics professor at JMU, and he asked questions about certain expenditures, and it just struck Dr. Carrier the wrong way. And he did what any rational college president under the same circumstances would have done. He abolished the physics department. And the next week, he was on the front page of the Chronicle of Higher Education. And Dr. Carrier was audacious. I mean, who else would have proposed picking up Interstate 81 and moving it 5 miles to the east? He actually proposed it, and I'm telling you, if anybody was capable of getting that done, it would have been Ron Carrier. He was, probably not one of my political allies. He was much sought after as a potential political candidate for years. he would have been a dream come true for somebody if he had run for office. He took some time to run the Center for Integrative Technology. I did not agree with him on everything, but the guy was a visionary. He was a giant. He was a great Virginian. He contributed greatly to the Commonwealth, to our system of higher education. And, Mr. President, even though he was not a member of this body, I did think that it was appropriate that a word or two be said. God bless him. God rest his soul.
Thank the senator. Senator from Eastern Fairfax, Senator Serville.
Point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator from Rockingham has inspired me to say a couple words about Dr. Carrier. You know, I attended JMU from 1989 until 1993 and saw Dr. Carrier at many fraternity parties, including my own. Had pizza at his house, as the senator from Hanover would remember, who actually used to fight in student government every year for about 3 years. Dr. Carey would have the student government leadership over at his house every year for pizza, and then we'd go to watch our basketball team lose. But you know, Dr. Carey, he took that school from about a 4,000 student teacher and nursing college to a 14,000 person nationally recognized university that taught everything under the sun. And there's no question JMU wouldn't be what it is today. And the senator from Rockingham stole the famous story about the Finance Committee. I have a lot of other stories which are probably not appropriate to tell on the floor. But I'll just say with regard to Dr. Carrier, you know, when I mentioned it a little bit yesterday in the floor debate, I got very upset about how the university was being treated during that recession from 1990 to 91, 92. And because of that, the student government in my freshman year was debating softer toilet paper. And I got very upset they weren't focused on more important things like their tuition going up. And that was what inspired me to get involved in student government. And I became very active and, of course, had a few opinions. Dr. Carrier took note of that. I got a call that I needed to come to his office one day in my senior year. And he came to me and said, I want you to go be a governor's fellow. I didn't know what that was. I'd never even heard of the Governor's Fellows program. But he said, if you put in for the Governor's Fellow program and you get it, the school will pick up your summer housing costs. We'll pay for your, we'll give you a stipend so you can afford to do it. But if you get it. And, you know, unfortunately, Governor Wilder was able to appoint me as a Governor's Fellow. And that summer I spent 2 months in Richmond following around cabinet. So actually, I followed around Bill Leidy the whole summer. That was who I got to follow. And we had lunch with cabinet secretaries, Supreme Court justices, the Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor, everybody. And that really got me a lot more engaged in state government than I had been. I had been more focused on the federal government, living up in Washington, D.C. But if it hadn't been for Ron Carrier, I'm not sure I'd be here today because he was always finding people in his school. Sorry. But Ron Carrier, I mean, listen, Ron Carrier was always looking out for students. He was always looking to mentor people, and he's always looking for people. He was always looking to promote JMU. And you know, and that's one thing that I hope to do while I'm here because he was deeply loyal to that school. So am I. And, you know, he was an inspiration to many people. A lot of us are going to miss him. So I hope we remember him this weekend.
Thank the senator. Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rise for an announcement.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, next Monday, February 26th, as you know, is our annual House-Senate basketball game. As you can see, I've already shaved my head in anticipation of the event. The bottom line is not only do we need to be competitive on the court, we need to be competitive off the court. And I challenge you all to raise $10,000. Right now, the number of checks I have are in the single digits, and I know that's because you all need to go home and find your checkbook. Okay, and I get that. But please come see me Monday, or if not Monday, Tuesday. But please Monday, so we can have an amount of money that we can put forward. And if you are going to play, stay warmed up, stay loose, and we're going to have a great time next Monday night. And even if you're not playing, please come and watch. It's a great event. Thank you very much.
Thank the senator. Senior Senator from Richmond City, Senator Sturdivant.
Mr. President, if we could briefly return to the morning hour, I have a introduction.
Without objection. Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, members of the Senate, joining us in the Senate gallery today are several dozen senior high school government students from James River High School in Midlothian. They are joining us here today to tour the Capitol and to learn more about the legislative process. I had a really nice opportunity to chat with them briefly, and so on behalf of Senator Chase and myself, I ask that we offer them the warm welcome of the Senate.
I thank the Senator. Would our leaders from James River High School please rise in the gallery if you're able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today. It's, as you can tell, a very large and wonderful group. We're grateful that you took the time to come to the Senate and to the Capitol today and echo the generous and eloquent words of the senior senator from Richmond City on behalf also of Senator Chase from Chesterfield. We are very proud of you and hope you're learning a lot about the way our government operates here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Look forward to your leadership in the years to come. So continue to work hard, dream big, and great things will happen for each one of you. So you're welcome back here anytime. I wish you a lot of success on your graduations this year. And I would ask everyone please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our leaders from James River High School. Is there any other business to come before the Senate?
Mr. President.
Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougal.
We're going to have a rules meeting immediately upon adjournment to refer one bill to local government.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be recognized? Seeing none, the clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
Today, Friday, February 23rd, the Committee on Rules will meet immediately upon adjournment at the chair's desk. Rules immediately upon adjournment at the chair's desk. The Joint Senate Committee for Courts of Justice and House Committee for Courts of Justice Judicial Panel will meet immediately upon adjournment of the Senate or the House Courts of Justice Committee, whichever is later, in the House Committee room in Pocahontas for judicial interviews. The Major Employment and Investment MEI Projects Approval Commission will meet 15 minutes after adjournment of the House and Senate in Senate Room 2 in the Capitol, Senators Norman, Hanger, and Ruff. Monday, February 26th, the Committee for Courts of Justice will meet at 9 a.m. in Senate Room A in Pocahontas. The Republican Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 2. The Democratic Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 1. The weekend weather report, it will be cloudy with a chance of rain throughout the Commonwealth. Rain will linger throughout the weekend with temperatures on Sunday ranging from the low 50s to the mid 70s. Have a safe trip home.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Does Senator Stanley wish to be heard? No. Okay. Back on Monday. Thank the Senator. Senator from Bedford, Senator Newman.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 12 noon Monday.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate stand adjourned until 12 noon on Monday? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate stands adjourned until 12 noon on Monday.